For decades, retirement was supposed to mean peace. Instead, for millions of people, it has become a math problem: rising home prices, property taxes that never stop increasing, maintenance costs that hit when income is fixed. Now imagine this. Tesla designed tiny house priced at $5,983. Not a concept. Not a YouTube fantasy. But a real housing solution built around one idea: lower your cost of living so your retirement actually works. This is why the Tesla tiny house is being called a retirement game changer, not because it is flashy, but because it attacks the single biggest expense retirees face. Housing. Before we break down the price, what is included, what is optional, and who this actually works for, take a moment to subscribe to the channel if you want Tesla projects explained clearly, realistically, and without clickbait. That way, you do not miss updates that could actually affect your financial future. Now, let us talk about why this $5,983 Tesla tiny house has people paying attention. What the $5,983 price actually includes.
It's the blueprint of tomorrow's
US clear up the
cities.
biggest confusion immediately. The $5,983 price is real, but it is not the full lifestyle package most headlines imply. It represents the base Tesla tiny house structure. That means the physical shell. The structural frame, the exterior walls, the roof, the floor system. This is the part that solves the hardest problem in housing. The structure itself. According to internal manufacturing documentation tied to Tesla, this base unit is produced using the same principles Tesla applies to vehicles. High automation, minimal parts, tight tolerances. Mass production. Traditional homes are expensive because labor dominates the cost. Tesla flips that equation. Robots do the work. Humans supervise. That is how the base structure price drops below $6,000. However, this base unit does not include solar panels, battery storage, appliances, interior finishes, plumbing, and water systems, electrical systems beyond basic conduits. Think of it like this: you are buying the strongest, most durable part of the house at the lowest possible cost. Everything else becomes modular. This matters because retirees have different needs. Some already own land. Some want full off-grid living. Some only want to reduce housing costs, not eliminate utilities entirely. Tesla designed the tiny house, so you only pay for what you actually need, not what a developer bundles to increase profit. This is why the price sounds unbelievable at first, because people assume it includes everything. It does not, but that is also what makes it flexible. And in retirement, flexibility is not a luxury. It is survival. The real cost of a fully livable Tesla tiny house. Now, let us talk about the number that actually matters. What does it cost to live in a Tesla tiny house? Not just own the shell. When you move beyond the base structure, the Tesla tiny house becomes a modular system. You add only what you need. Here is the realistic breakdown based on current internal estimates and component pricing. The base structure, $5,983. To make it livable, most retirees will add 3 core systems. First, energy, a 6-kilowatt solar roof system paired with a Powerwall battery. This provides daily electricity and backup power. Estimated cost, $16,000 to $17,000, depending on configuration. Second, interior essentials. This includes insulation, flooring, basic cabinetry, lighting, and climate control. Estimated cost, $3,000 to $4,000. Third, plumbing and water. Fresh water storage, filtration, wastewater handling, and basic bathroom fixtures. Estimated cost, $2,000 to $3,000. When you add everything together, a fully
off-grid
livable Tesla tiny house typically lands between $22,000 and $26,000 total. Now pause and compare that. The median home price in the United States is over $400,000. Even a modest retirement condo often requires a mortgage, property taxes, and ongoing association fees. This Tesla tiny house targets a completely different outcome: minimal upfront cost, minimal monthly expenses, minimal maintenance, and here is the part that matters most in retirement. Once it is set up, Your monthly housing cost drops dramatically. No mortgage. No traditional property taxes in many jurisdictions. Very low utility bills. Predictable expenses. This is not about luxury. This is about control. Control over your money. Control over your living costs. Control over how long your savings actually last. That is why this project is not just a housing product. It is a financial strategy. How the Tesla tiny house is built to last decades. This is where the Tesla tiny house separates itself from almost every prefab or tiny home you have seen. Online, most tiny homes are built like RVS. Light materials, thin walls, short life expectancy. Tesla took a different approach. The structure uses a steel-based frame instead of wood studs. Steel does not rot. It does not warp. It does not attract pests. The exterior panels are engineered composite materials designed to resist moisture, extreme heat, and freezing temperatures. This matters more in retirement than people realize because replacing a roof or repairing structural damage later in life is expensive, stressful, and often impossible on a fixed income. The Tesla tiny house is designed around longevity first, not resale. Flipping insulation is significantly higher than standard mobile structures.
They build them
Thermal
like
efficiency
products.
reduces heating and cooling
stress.
costs. Year after year,
surprise bills.
the roof is designed
Just a
to
home
integrate
that
solar
works with
panels
you,
as a permanent
not
system.
against you.
Not a bolt-on accessory. That means fewer leaks, fewer failure points, lower maintenance. Tesla engineers approach this the same way they approach vehicles. Design fewer parts, reduce complexity, increase durability. This is why the projected structural lifespan is measured in decades, not years, and this is exactly where most tiny homes quietly fail retirees. They look affordable upfront, then degrade quickly. This one is built to stay stable while you age. If this breakdown is helping you understand whether the Tesla tiny house actually makes sense for retirement, make sure you like the video and stay subscribed. It helps more people find honest explanations instead of recycled hype, and it tells me to keep making deep dives like this. Now let us continue. Where you can legally place a Tesla tiny house.
They build them like products.
This is the part most videos completely ignore, and it is the part that matters the most. You can have the perfect tiny house at the perfect price with the lowest monthly costs. But if you cannot legally place it where you live, none of that matters. The Tesla tiny house is designed to be classified as movable modular housing, not a traditional permanent home. That classification changes everything. In many states, movable structures are regulated differently than fixed residential homes. This can mean lower permitting requirements, reduced property taxes, faster approval timelines. However, it also means rules vary widely by state, county, and even city. Here are the three most common placement options retirees need to understand. First, private land you already own. This is the simplest path. In many rural and semi-rural areas, zoning allows movable or modular dwellings as primary residences. In these cases, the Tesla tiny house can often be placed with minimal permitting. Second, leased land or retirement communities. Some communities allow modular units if they meet size, safety, and utility standards. Others restrict tiny homes entirely. This is where Tesla's reported land lease model becomes important. By partnering with approved locations, Tesla can reduce regulatory friction for buyers. Third, urban and suburban zones. This is the most restrictive category. Many cities still require minimum square footage for permanent residences. Some prohibit movable housing entirely. This does not mean it is impossible. It means retirees must verify zoning laws before making plans. The key takeaway is this: the Tesla tiny house is not illegal, but placement is not universal. Smart planning means checking zoning, classification, utility connection, rules, minimum dwelling size requirements, whether movable structures are permitted. This is not a Tesla problem. It is a local regulation problem, and it is solvable with the right information. The real drawbacks retirees must understand. Now, let us talk honestly. Because no housing solution is perfect, and this one is not either. The Tesla tiny house solves major financial problems, but it introduces trade-offs retirees must clearly understand before making decisions. First, space. At around 200 to 300 square feet per unit, this is not a traditional home. It is intentionally compact. If you are used to large kitchens, multiple bedrooms, or entertaining large groups indoors, this will feel like a lifestyle shift. This house rewards simplicity. Second, upfront planning. While the total cost is dramatically lower than traditional housing, the setup requires careful planning, land placement, utility access, or off-grid configuration. Local regulations. This is not a buy-today, move-tomorrow solution in every state. Third, resale expectations. This is not designed as an investment property. It is designed as a cost control tool. If your primary goal is appreciation, traditional real estate still wins. If your goal is preserving retirement cash flow, this wins. Fourth, weather and climate considerations. Although the structure is engineered for durability, extreme climates require correct insulation and energy configuration. Cold regions may need additional heating capacity. Hot regions require proper ventilation planning. These are manageable, but they must be planned up front. The important thing is this: none of these drawbacks are hidden. They are trade-offs, not flaws, and for many retirees, they are acceptable trade-offs when weighed against rising housing costs and financial stress. Final verdict: why this is a retirement game changer. So here is the real verdict. The Tesla tiny house is not about living smaller. It is about living smarter. It is about removing the single biggest threat to retirement stability. Housing expenses that never stop growing. At a base price of $5,983, with full living setups in the low $20,000 range. This creates an option that did not exist before. No mortgage, minimal utilities, predictable costs, long-term durability for retirees on fixed incomes. That is not a trend. That is security. This is not for everyone. But for people who value independence over square footage,
This isn't a camp.
stability over speculation,
It's the blueprint
and
of tomorrow's
peace
cities.
over pressure.
Energy,
This could fundamentally
autonomy.
change how retirement looks. I want to hear from you. Would you consider living in a Tesla tiny house during retirement? Or do you feel traditional housing is still worth the cost? Comment tiny house or traditional below. If you are serious about retirement planning and future-proof living, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do not miss updates on Tesla housing, energy, and cost-saving technology. And finally, turn on notifications. Because the moment Tesla makes anything official about pricing, availability, or approved locations, you will want that information immediately, not months later. I will see you in the next one.